We're going to break down a Falcons mock draft that came out from The Athletic back on Wednesday. So if you want more Falcons draft content, make sure to subscribe to the mothership of Atlanta Falcons news and rumors here at Chat Sports Falcons Today, hosted by yours truly. Now enjoy our video. So The Athletic released their 2024 NFL mock draft with the standing set after the regular season, and it's a bombshell. I clicked into it, and the first thing I saw was the Atlanta Falcons are trading up for the first overall pick. So we're going to break down the idea of the Falcons moving up and getting Caleb Williams and everything that entails. But I do want to get the pulse of everyone watching right now. If you want more mock drafts, please subscribe to the channel. That way I can get a good idea of what the viewers want. So make sure to hit that sub button if you would like to see more Falcons mock drafts. But let's get right into it here as the Caleb Williams era in Atlanta could be underway as soon as April. So The Athletic had the Falcons moving up to get Caleb first overall. Drake Maye goes to the Commanders second. Marvin Harrison Jr. is off to Foxborough. And Fashanu, one of the best tackles we have seen in quite some time, is off to Arizona. But let's talk about Caleb Williams, right? The 2022 Heisman winner. This year was a bit of a down season. I think we can all agree. Like, if you're just going box score hunting, was a bit of a down season in terms of what USC's aspirations were this season. They did not meet them. But all in all, I still think Caleb Williams is one of the best quarterback prospects we have seen in a few years. I mean, guys like Caleb Williams just don't come around every single year. Go look at Kenny Pickett's draft class. If Caleb Williams is in that draft class, he goes 1-1 no matter what. So he's younger, which is nice to see because a lot of quarterbacks coming out of college right now are guys who benefited from the COVID year or transferring around a little bit and are towards the 23, 24, 25 age of their life. But Caleb Williams just turned 22 just 2 months ago, and it did not come very cheap. If you're wondering what it cost to move up from 8 to 1, the Falcons swapped first-round picks with the Bears. They also gave up their 43rd overall pick in round 2, a 2025 first-round pick, and a future second-round pick. Now, in comparison with the Panthers gave up to go from 9 to 1, it's not very different from that, but DJ Moore was included. Now, the Bears might have gotten away with an all-time steal, even if Bryce Young turns out to be or was a great quarterback in his rookie year. The Panthers probably overpaid a little bit too much there for a guy that didn't have as great of a coming out of college overall recruiting draft buzz in terms of comparing Bryce Young and Caleb Williams. But no player given up for Caleb Williams in this mock trade feels like a huge win for Atlanta. So when it comes to whether or not I think this is a good idea for the Falcons, history says it won't work out. And what do I mean by that? We have seen a handful of teams make big blockbuster trades to move up and get the quarterback of the future. And most times it has failed. I mean, it's too early to grade Bryce Young, but I think we can all agree, not on a good path for the Carolina Panthers. Trey Lance to the 49ers, failure. Jared Goff to the Rams, not a failure, but I don't think it's what the Rams were hoping for after they ended up trading him to the Lions. Carson Wentz to the Eagles, failure. RG3 to the Redskins, pretty much a failure, and that's more on Washington's part than RG3's part. But there is something to be said about trading up to get your star QB. Might sound really fun in January, February, March, and April, but then you look back and just none of these worked out very well at all. Jared Goff is the best of the bunch, and I don't think you can call that a great success. But at the same time, it is January right now. And I am roster baiting to the idea of Caleb Williams, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London all being in the same offense. And then tossing in Kyle Pitts, who hopefully can be figured out. And you get that potential offense paired with maybe not one of the best defenses in football, but a defense that can hold their own, right? You get Grady Jarrett back from injury in 2024. Arnold Ebiketie, Zach Harrison, two young defensive ends that show some promising flashes this year. A.J. Terrell, one of the league's better corners. Jesse Bates, who in my eyes was the best safety in all of football this season. Like, you pair that offense with an average defense that looks to just be getting better and better over the last 2 years or so, And that could be a Falcons team in a bad NFC South that is ready to roll, just like C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans are this year, who are already hosting a playoff game. So let's revisit that trade again, and let me get your opinion on it. Would you do this trade? We're talking first-round pick swap, 2025 first-round pick, and then a future second. They did not specify what year that would be. All in all, we're talking, I wouldn't even say 2 firsts because you're just swapping first. So 1 additional first and 2 second-rounders. That screams light to me to get Caleb Williams. A future first and 2 seconds to get your star QB. Yeah, I think that's something a lot of GMs would pounce at. So as much as I love history, and as much as I love watching World War II in color, I think Caleb Williams is the exception to what we saw earlier of the 5 QBs that unfortunately failed the expectations of the team when they traded up to get them. I have much higher pre-draft grades on Caleb Williams than I did for Bryce Young and Trey Lance. Caleb Williams looks to be the complete and total package. So if all it really did cost was, I hate calling it 2 first-round picks because you're getting a first-round pick in return. So it's a first-round pick swap, 1 additional first, and 2 seconds to get the star quarterback for the next 10 to 20 years, arguably. Sign me in. I'll sign in pink, purple, rainbow. I don't care. Just give me the dotted line, and it's done. Now, here's what the Athletics' Nick Baumgartner had to say about this idea. Chicago hasn't made a decision yet on Justin Fields. If the Bears decide to move on, this pick will be for a quarterback. At the same time, the Bears' trade last March with Carolina again puts general manager Ryan Poles in a situation in which he could unload number 1 for a haul, further build around or kick the can on Fields, and really change up an already impressive young roster. Of all the QB-needy teams, Atlanta's roster is the most ready to win. Now, add a new coach and a new face of the franchise. Williams next to running back Bijan Robinson in an offense with tight end Kyle Pitts and wide receiver Drake London might sell a ticket or 2. I think Arthur Blank wants to swing big. And I think Baumgartner made a great point about not just getting Caleb Williams, but also adding a new coach, right? And this has been something I've said before, but Arthur Blank at 81 years old just fired Arthur Smith when he gave Arthur Smith a lot of confidence earlier in the season, right? Ultimately decided to go a different direction. I think it's because Arthur Blank does not want to just sit back and go, hey, let's take a nice offensive tackle. Let's take a nice defensive end. Let's build in the trenches at 8 overall. No, I think he wants to swing for the fences here. And if you want to talk about swinging for the fences, it is trading up for Caleb Williams, and it is getting a head coach like Bill Belichick, which leads me to this. Is Arthur Blank's dream get Bill Belichick because Mike Vrabel's going to go to New England, and that's going to free up Bill, and then move up and get Caleb Williams and feel like Bill Belichick, Caleb Williams, crappy division, home playoff game or 2, and we can get hot, and in 2 or 3 years, we can be planning and celebrating a parade in Atlanta. That might be something that's creeping through Arthur Blank's mind, and the only thing stopping him from that right now is Bill Belichick still in New England, which could change at any given moment. We just saw Nick Saban retire, and having to trade up with the Bears to get the first overall pick. Now, we're going to talk more about this mock draft in just a moment, but we've got an awesome deal for the Dirty Birds right now, which is this Falcons t-shirt hat combo. So it's on sale, and I don't want you guys to miss out on a great opportunity to replenish your Falcons wardrobe like I did right here. My future mother-in-law got me an awesome Falcons polo for Christmas, so repping it on today's show. I know I did just put that out there, but not engaged yet, so that's definitely going to get Shay worked up. Whatever. Make sure you go to chatsports.com/ATL combo, and we're going to get you guys an awesome Falcons polo on sale when you use our exclusive link. Now let's run through the rest of the mock draft in case you're wondering. So Malik Nabers, who I think might be the second best wide receiver in this class, goes number 5 to the Chargers. Joe Alt goes to the Giants. Brock Bowers to the Titans. Keon Coleman, a very good wide receiver, to the Bears. With the Falcons' number 8 overall pick, Chicago has their own number 9 pick. They go Dallas Turner. And we see Jayden Daniels fall all the way to the Vikings at number 11. That one's interesting because if Kirk Cousins re-signs in Minnesota, which I expect him to do, he's going to have to be signing a pretty big offer. Otherwise, he could go elsewhere and get more money. You're going to sign Kirk Cousins to a big contract and then draft Jayden Daniels? I don't know, Jim. Moving along here, Odunze, who was awesome for Washington. He goes in the division, unfortunately. Terrion Arnold is a sneaky name to keep an eye on, going to the Indianapolis Colts from Alabama. His teammate Kool-Aid McKinstry, he lands in Jacksonville. Chop Robinson, I've seen him mocked to the Falcons before. He goes 18 to the Bengals. I think that's a much more appropriate draft pick number for Chop Robinson. Moving along here, Jared Verse. I'm a big Jared Verse guy out of Florida State. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 23. And then we get one of the unicorns, the white corner, Cooper DeJean. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles at number 25. Michael Penix falling all the way to Denver, who traded back in this mock draft at 27. I don't think anyone's got a good beat on where Michael Penix goes. There are some major medical concerns, 2 torn ACL, shoulder injuries in college. He's a bit older, but if all that clears, I think Michael Penix could go top 15. Moving on here to round out the mock draft, we've got Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon, who might be losing their head coach, Dan Lanning, to Alabama. He goes to the San Francisco 49ers to round out the Athletics mock draft. Now, I always love to look back and think or see how accurate are these mock drafts. So I did the heavy lifting for you all, and I looked back at the January 2023 mock drafts, right? So this time last year to see how accurate they were. And on the left, you can see the number of players that actually went round 1. Ignore what team they went to, because I only saw of all 5 of those mock drafts, 1 or 2 actually get the right player, pick number, and team right. Peter Skoronski to the Titans. So we're looking at a consensus of 17 to 20 of even the players in the first round going first round in April. And as for guys that went top 10, again, ignore what team they went to and at what pick. Just did they go top 10 in the mock draft and in the actual draft? 6 to 10 hit rate. So it is extremely difficult job to be an NFL mock drafter because you can't even figure out who's going in the first round, let alone to what team and at what spot. So for now, we've got a lot of time before the NFL draft, and that just kind of goes to show it's an absolute crapshoot. Even the professionals don't have a great grasp on who is going to be going in the first round, let alone to what team. But let me know who you want to see the Falcons draft this year. Get in the comment section right now. Drop your dream draft target. All right, that's going to do it for us on this edition of Falcons Today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to sign off and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.